Two.
Welcome to the Conservative Continuum. I am your host, Mick Meow. Today we have a Comanche Cat show with Terry Evans. He is the Comanche County GOP chairman. Now, we are going to discuss everything GOP today. I would like to ask you, please subscribe to patreon.com/MickMeow. You can find the Conservative Continuum on Rumble and Facebook. Now, grab your kitty treats and your milk, and let's get ready to engage. It's time for the caterwaul, so let's get to it. So, who out there has ever watched the movie The Matrix? Now come on, raise your hand. There you go. Do you remember when Neo first met Agent Smith and they're in the interrogation room and Neo says, "I demand to make my phone call." And Agent Smith says to him, "Tell me, Mr. Anderson, what good is a phone call when you are unable to speak?" And then you see that Neo doesn't have any orifice for a mouth. It's just tissue over skin, and there's nothing there. Well, here at the Conservative Continuum, Dax and I recognize that there is an information war going on. There's a communication war that is being waged. It is a form of cultural, social, and economical violence. Information and communication matters. Information and communication is what we are as relational beings. Relationships define us. Communication is vital for those relationships. So as we lead off into our second year, we have taken time to evaluate. And while we will continue to bring you wonderful guests and a whole host of information relevant to those things that are happening nationally and impacting locally, we are going to start to focus on topics of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, 5G warfare, the war of words, communications, narrative, the impacts of diversity, equity, inclusion, the Hegelian dialectic, and all of that impacts our culture, as well as that Marxist agenda that is permeated and infiltrated through our state. Also, we're going to focus on how all of this ties together with a satanic spiritual warfare that is really the heart of the issue. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. However, because we truly believe in the nurturing, healing, grace, and power of God and Jesus Christ, we will also be focusing on topics such as boundaries and solutions to combat these ever-pressing offenses. Now, Dax and I hope that you stay with us throughout this second year. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on all my posts. And after the break, we want you to thank and welcome Terry Evans, Oklahoma GOP Comanche County Chairman. Let's see you soon after the break. Welcome to the Conservative Continuum. I am your host, Mick Meow. So we have a really great show for you today. We have Terry Evans, and he is the chairman of Comanche County. And he's with us here today. We're going to talk about everything GOP, but I want to encourage everybody to go to patreon.com/McMeow, become a sponsor today. I also encourage all of our sponsors and everyone out there to like and share and comment on all of my posts. Terry, hello. How are you?
Hey, doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, living my life, causing trouble, wreaking havoc. That's how we do, here in the city.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad that you're with us today. The GOP has had their convention and we're off to a really good start, but you are in Comanche County. And you were recently elected, was it last February? Is that right? It was in February?
Yep.
Okay.
February 4th.
So you guys ran a whole entire ticket, your chairman, vice chairman, state committee members. I don't know if you did your district committees at the same time.
All 6.
Okay, so you guys ran the whole thing and all of you won, correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. Now, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, that kind of started a little firestorm in Oklahoma because the other counties that were running new chairmen, they saw that and they thought, great, this is a good sign because you guys are connected with Oklahoma First, America First type of candidates and leadership. So could you tell us, Terry, just a little bit about why you ran and what your thoughts are for leadership, what your leadership will bring to Comanche County?
Well, so in Comanche County, we had a county chair and the other positions who had a philosophy where they controlled everything and only the people they approved of were allowed to do anything. There was no precincts really except the couple they controlled where they lived, and when you tried to find out who was your precinct chair or what was going on, they wouldn't tell you. I think we were told 5 different people were our precinct chair depending on the flavor of the story of the week they wanted to tell, to include Representative Tony Hassensbeck, who lives down here in our precinct. And when we spoke with her, she had no clue what we were talking about. And it all kind of started about 2 years ago when my wife Amber and I got involved in looking at election integrity in Oklahoma. And when we found it starting, we started finding problems in the voter rolls and things and procedures and things like that. We started speaking to people about it, and she got on Facebook, I believe, and asked the previous chairman if he would like us to come talk about it and what we found. And his philosophy is that's just conspiracy theories, and he made some snarky comments and stuff. And right then, as soon as he was disrespectful to her, is when I decided I'm going to run for that spot because that's not the leadership we need. So we put together a ticket and, got some really great people and talked to, tons of people about it and showed up in force with people that actually wanted to be involved and see that precincts had the power back. And the reason we needed to take over so distinctly and change all that leadership out is because the precincts are the power.
Yes.
And, if you're not going to allow precincts to have power, and there wasn't any precincts for 20 years here, then you're not doing it right. And now we went from like maybe 4 or 5 precincts previously. Now we have 30 active precincts.
That's fabulous.
And, we're doing a lot of great things down here. We've done brigade training. We've got 6 brigades stood up. We've reached out and spoke with Representative Trey Caldwell. We have been working on getting linked up with the Red Cord to fight human trafficking down here in Comanche County, and also looking at working with Neighborhood Watch to get Neighborhood Watch stood up, because I want the GOP down here to be not just about politics, but about the community. And you make the county safer, you'll get more people involved in things. And so,
if you don't mind, will you tell us a little bit about that? Tell us a little bit about Red Cord and the Neighborhood Watch. Now, is there a lot of child trafficking, sex trafficking in Comanche County? Is that what's happening and why you're connecting? Or tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Lawton is basically a pit stop for human trafficking coming out of through Texas, coming up the interstate. And, so we've got, various truck stops and things like that where stuff like that can take place. And I know there's been a few people disappeared from here as well and things like that. And the Red Cord is a group down here that's been fighting that for a while. And they've got some great training. You can Google their website, a lot of information there. And I've sent them an email. They've replied back that we can set up training with them. And they also do monthly training down here that people can attend. So we want to get more people involved. And the reason being is, my daughter and her friend were targeted at one point when they were at the Walmart down here. And they were followed around the store. And it just so happens that she was part of the criminal justice program in high school. And so she knew a lot of police officers. And when they went outside, she saw a Lawton PD parked there and went over and told him about it. And they ran him off. But, so it happens, and you never know when it could happen. So you got to keep an eye on it. And the more people that know what to look for, the less it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then with the Neighborhood Watch, the Neighborhood Watch, that's what we always saw when I was a kid. Everywhere you went, you saw the little signs and stuff like that. And, I got to look around, like, where did that go? What happened to that sort of thing? So I've reached out to them, and there's online training that you can get from them and materials you can buy, and they can help you stand up groups in your neighborhoods and things like that. So we're working with that as well to basically get each precinct involved in doing that and setting it up in their neighborhood, so that more people are watching about what's going on and caring about their neighbors.
That is great. I am glad to hear that. I want to ask you a little bit because you had mentioned about the brigades. So I know that is part of the state GOP as well. They are looking, the new administration, Nathan Dahm, Wayne Hill, they're looking at instituting local control in the GOPs across the state and forming these brigades. So you said you've already instituted 5. I'm wondering if one of those is for the child trafficking. I'd wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what that looks like and what that means for everyone in Lawton.
Well, so Charity Lynch has really spearheaded the brigade concept here in Oklahoma with her work with America's Frontline Doctors and stuff.
Okay.
And, we've spoke with her, many times over the last year or two and learned about
the brigades and learn. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay. You said Charity Lynch, you learned about the brigades.
Yep. And so we have the 6 brigades we have down here are education, legislature watch, elections, the city council, county commission, and an events brigade. And then we're working on with those, each brigade, we've got, one of the 6, people in the county leadership is the point of contact for it. And so they have each brigade has meetings and stuff, and then they go out and do things. So for example, our legislative watch point of contact, Pat Carpenter, she's been up to the Capitol. She's been to OPAC. She watches the bills that are coming up, and she sends me that information, and then we get it loaded on our website. Our city council, county commission brigade point of contact, Gerald Warren, he goes to the meetings, he gets the minutes, he gets the agendas and stuff like that, and we push those out to get people involved in what's going on. And it's really interesting down here because the city council here in Lawton likes to, put out a meeting. Oh, we're having a meeting in an hour. And they're public meetings that you can watch and see them voting on things. But, an hour's notice, nobody knows they're going on. Nobody shows up to argue or, question the things they're voting on. And then our education brigades watching the school board meetings and the libraries and things like that, and making sure that we don't have CRT creeping in and things like that.
Excellent. We're going to take a quick break. I just heard the kitty cry, which means it's time for his treats. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more to Terry Evans about the GOP in Comanche County. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Conservative Continuum. If you're a sponsor, thank you so much for sponsoring us. We so appreciate you. We are here with Terry Evans. He is the chairman of the Comanche County GOP. And we're talking to him about the things that are going on in Comanche County, but really we're talking about the GOP as well and what's going on there. So, Terry, Comanche County includes Lawton. I think that's your biggest city there. If you could tell us a little bit about what you see for the GOP impact in Lawton. Basically, what's your vision there, and how do you see that Lawton can grow, or the GOP can grow in Lawton?
Well, so we face a lot of challenges down here. For some reason, people are still confused about what the GOP is supposed to do and who's running it. The former chairman's formed a Southwest Oklahoma PAC to try to invite people, and I think he's actually even got some GOP documents on there and things, and trying to raise money for who knows what. We spoke to a couple people that talked about, they thought he was still the chairman. Some other people were trying to recruit members because they felt he was removed unjustly and stuff. So it's really divided down here, and we're working on getting the information to people so they know what's really going on, and so they can make informed decisions and get involved. The county was so split and so silenced by the previous administration down here that people don't understand that the county GOP isn't the main power source. The power source is the precincts. All the decisions come from the precincts, who they want to vote for, who we're going to have run, things like that. That's who decides that, not me. All my decisions should be easy. What the people want, that's what we do.
Right.
And that's complete opposite of how it used to be ran. And people still think that's, what's going on. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our website set up and things so that people can go there, and it's a complete steady stream of information for them on all the political stuff, news, what's happening in the community, and things like that, so they can make their own decisions and then let us know what they want so we can help support them.
Wow, that's great. How, besides the website, how else are you communicating? Are you doing any like weekly forums or a county forum, text blasts? Are you doing anything like that? Have you found any way that maybe communication is easier with your group there in Lawton?
Well, we're working on getting that set up. I'd like to do at least a weekly video and think to talk about
Things in Lawton. Terry, you kind of blacked out there a little bit. You were talking about we were talking about communication.
Yep. And so we're trying to get we want to do a weekly video that will get people informed and keep them up to speed. The website's really going to be where most of the bulk data is available, where they can track bills and stuff like that. And then our Facebook page, we're working on that sort of thing. We might do a Twitter, and we also, we have our monthly county meetings, and then we also do a lot of special meetings for certain things. Like if we get a guest speaker down here and stuff like that, we're working on, I believe, Ryan Walters coming down speaking. Trey Caldwell is going to speak at our next county meeting on June 15th, and stuff like that.
Have you had a lot of response, people in the community? Like, I know you guys built up to 30 precincts from 4, so obviously you're doing something right. Have you noticed that there's been an influx of people in the area now that you all have been in leadership of the GOP?
Well, I mean, it's really slow getting people to come out and go to the meetings and stuff like that. We're working on walking the precincts and meeting people. After we finish our precinct training, it should be stepped up a little bit, like in number wise. But the precinct training's not till mid-July, I believe. So we're probably going to get out there and knock some doors and meet people before then too.
Good. That sounds wonderful. I do want to kind of shift gears a little bit here. Maybe we could talk mainly about like the GOP in general, especially since there are a lot of new chairmen, there are a lot of new people in positions across the state. And I know you're there at Comanche County, but 2024 is upon us. And that's a big election year, obviously for president, but, there's going to be other elections as well. Could you tell me, what are your thoughts on what the party should do or what can be done within the Republican Party? And what is your role as we move into the election season?
Well, so you're right. The presidential election is coming way faster than people think.
Yes.
It's going to be on us before you know it. And part of what's important with the election is people having confidence in voting. And, with the work Amber and I have done on looking into the voter registrations and things like that, we know that people's concerns are warranted. And so with a lot of these new chairmen throughout the counties all around the state, they don't necessarily know what they should be doing or how to do it, stuff like that. So Amber is working with Dr. Kish Rashar's husband, our friend Buddy Rashar's wife.
In Cleveland County.
Yep. And the two of them are putting together basically an SOP on how to look at the voter rolls, how to gain access to the election data warehouse, how to run the data, and look at things like that. And that will also help these counties with contacting their voters and canvassing and finding out who's involved, who wants to be involved in their county, as well as, is their contact information correct? And, do they want more info? Do they know who's running in different races and things like that? And provide them with all the information they need. And that's the biggest piece.
Okay. So you guys are really focusing on the election integrity for the 2024. Are you guys engaging in other areas, or are there other areas that you think the GOP, the Republican Party, should focus on, can focus on? Is there anything like that?
So with these the SOPs that Amber and Nicole are working on, with those going out statewide and getting people the information they need on how to do it, that's going to reinforce the state being able to, pick good candidates, out of those that are running and get the right, validity as far as screening them and picking who people actually want for these positions. The state committees and the district committees are super important, especially the district, because those are the people who pick your electoral voters for your electoral college in the state. And so that's going to be a big issue here coming up probably later this year or early next spring, selecting that. So we've really got to help the state get organized on that sort of thing. And then, make sure that all the counties, we're all working to the same level for these elections. And, it also is important because when you can find out who these people are in your county, then you can make sure that you have your precinct workers and stuff like that available to meet the requirements.
Terry, this is great information. I'm so glad you guys are working on election integrity, and I hope it sweeps across the whole state. We're going to take a quick break. The kitty wants to go out again. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Terry Evans. Welcome back to the Conservative Continuum. I am your host, Mick Meow. We are here with Terry Evans, the GOP chair of Comanche County. So, Terry, when we left off, you were talking about election integrity. Now, I know you guys worked a lot on election integrity, Oklahoma Liberty Watch, and I know you guys were also connected with the people who are with Oklahoma Liberty and Integrity. Is this something, what you're doing, this canvassing or this database to legitimize and validate the voter rolls, is this something that you're doing throughout the whole state? Are you working with the state GOP on this? Is it something that other county leaders can get in contact with you about? How is that going to impact the whole GOP?
Well, so we've worked all across the state for about the last 2 years on the election integrity issue. And we've spoke all the way up past Tulsa and everywhere in between to different groups about it. The county GOPs and stuff can certainly contact us to find out more about how to look at the information, things like that. And, we did a canvassing effort in 8 counties last year. And what we found is that the voter rolls are an absolute mess. We even had a guy that lived in Tennessee and just came here to work, didn't have an Oklahoma license or anything else, just a P.O. box and an RV spot, was on our voter registration as an active voter since 2012.
Wow.
And he had no clue about it. So there's definitely problems. And by canvassing, you can help people, clean up the voter rolls, find out if they're actually registered to vote, how they're registered to vote. We saw a lot of people getting switched from Republican to Democrat, and they didn't even know it in the databases, which affected their ability to vote in the primaries. So, yeah, the counties can reach out. And yes, we've worked with Wayne Hill and talked to him about this stuff. Nathan Dahm has also talked to us several times in the past about election integrity. And we've presented information to him and stuff like that, so he could help work on legislation. We helped with legislation to get Eric stopped in this state from getting funded and stuff like that. So, it certainly is important, and it's certainly something that anyone can reach out to us if they want to know more about it.
I want to just ask you too, on the I want to touch on election integrity just really quickly here. Are you all working as part of the GOP to help maybe push forward some legislation, or is that part of what you're doing in any of that for this next session?
Yes, we've worked with Sean Roberts and Nathan Dahm and Senator Warren Hamilton and Senator Shane Jett on the election integrity stuff quite a bit. And, we haven't specifically written legislation for them, but we've helped with promoting some of the bills and talking to a few other representatives who are wanting to write legislation on it to get things changed.
Perfect. I jumped off. We squirreled there for a moment. Squirrel. I want to jump back into 2024 and the Republican Party. What are your thoughts on what is happening within the Republican Party as we are moving into the election season? And what I mean by that is we seem to have I don't want to say it's a splintering, but we have a fractions of the Republican Party. Some people would call themselves, establishment. Some people say, okay, I'm make America great again. I'm MAGA. We have different factions within the Republican Party. So what do you see happening in 2024?
Well, so you hear a lot of people talk about establishment and rhinos and Make America Great Again and the Ron DeSantis crowd and things like that. And you have to understand, the establishment, what the difference between an establishment and rhinos is very small, but very distinct. If you're, the establishment is okay, well, we'll just kind of make a deal and compromise, and we'll play the high ground and everything will be fine if we just wait long enough. Everything will fix itself. And hopefully along the way, I can get rich. The rhinos are blatantly voting for bills that promote gun control or, abortion or whatever that goes against the Republican platform. And so your list of actual establishment is really small, and your list of rhinos is really big. So you have to look at people's voting history and what they stand for before you go voting for them. And so a lot of people don't necessarily agree with President Trump's presentation and how he comes across and stuff like that, but no one ever complains about the results. No one was complaining when gas was $1 something,
right,
and the border was closed,
right.
And I feel like right now we've got a lot of challenges in 2020. Have Robert F. Kennedy coming on strong for the Democrat Party, who can actually finish a complete sentence and walk straight. So he's everything the Democrats hope for in a candidate. And he speaks well. So he's making a valid point for them to unseat Biden. You know, if it was just Biden up, you could put a Senate next year and win. But with I feel like the Republican Party is missing out on the long game. And I think that what should be happening is everyone should be backing President Trump to get reelected so that he can clean house in the DOJ and things like that. And then prep up to get Ron DeSantis in 2028 as the follow-on so we can continue the momentum once Trump has cleaned house.
Right.
With Ron DeSantis jump into the game now, I feel like it's just splitting votes. And that's the last thing we need.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. I really would love for everyone to back Trump. I know that there's people who don't. We personally do. We think that Trump is going to be the only president who will be able to get us back, at least in some semblance of, can I use the word sanity? Can I use the word normalcy? I'm going to go. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, but if you're listening, President Donald J. Trump, we love you. We'd love to have you on the show. So we're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Conservative Continuum. I am your host, Mick Meow. We are here with Terry Evans. If you're a sponsor, thank you so much. If you're not a sponsor, please go to patreon.com/Mick Meow. Make sure you like, comment, and share on all of our posts. So, Terry, we were talking, and when we last left off, I was giving a shout out to President Trump. He may be texting me any moment. Wait, I'm going to text him on True Social. Just kidding. But I do love him. Can I say this too? Donald Trump Jr., I'm just going to squirrel here for a minute. Donald Trump Jr. got a little bit of a crush on him. Okay, just putting it out there. All right. So, moving on. I haven't had enough coffee, probably. Moving on. I want to talk to you a little bit more about the Republican Party and what's coming up. So we are relational beings, and communication is really the crux of that relationship. Being able to talk to each other, interact with each other, have some commonality. It's what we used to call communication and having conversations. But our party has had a little bit of difficulty, as all parties do, but our party's had a little bit of difficulty with that and that interaction. So how do we create an atmosphere where all fractions of the Republican Party are able to come together, talk together, voice their opinions, and not have to be concerned with, saying something wrong? Maybe I don't agree with you 100% on everything, but I take those points and they're valid, and we work together and we find common ground and mutuality. Or is that even something we can do?
Well, part of what makes Republicans great is the foundations of rugged individualism. as a country. It's what the pioneers lived off of, and it's how we survived. That's carried on to today. And unfortunately, what that sometimes ends up with is a whole bunch of rugged individuals that don't want to work with each other and, fail to communicate. But what we're really running into as, the true enemy isn't just the left or the far left or whatever. It's the willful ignorance and hypocrisy. And if you've got somebody who's willfully ignorant and doesn't want to look at facts and accept those facts as fact, then you can't have a conversation with them. And good luck working with them. And same thing with hypocrisy. Don't tell me you're all about America, then you vote for gun control.
Right.
So the time for making compromises on a lot of things is over. We have to figure out, okay, we don't want open borders. We don't want CRT and drag shows in our schools. We're not going to tolerate fentanyl pouring in. And we need to find a candidate like, our candidates need to be like Trump, who are like, no, I'm not going to pass a bill that sort of kind of fixes the problem. I'm going to fix the problem, or I'm going to fire somebody. And keep going till we get the right people. So, as a party, the people that, want to sit on the sidelines and not do anything, they need to get over it and speak up, about this stuff and come together, with the people that are doing things. Right now, it's that 0.01%, like, these county chairmen and things, and the 20 or so people that show up to my meetings who are trying to make a difference for 25,000 people, in the county. So it's really tough, and it's time for people to actually get involved, even if it's just emailing somebody to let them know what your opinion is, what your feelings are. Legislators here in the state say for every call they get, that's 100 people
Right.
that have the same opinion that don't call.
Yes, absolutely. What about bringing it down to the local level? We have some fabulous Republicans. We're just talking about the rank and file now. We have incredible people like yourself, other leaders in other counties. I know you guys have probably experienced maybe some pushback within, like, maybe your own county. How do we engage those people who are Republicans? Maybe they're just rank and file Republicans, but they're giving you some pushback on whatever because they don't agree with you 100%. So how do you draw them in without having this, I'm going to cancel them or kick them out of the group?
Well, the big thing is understanding what the GOP rules are. Okay. The previous administration had, claimed to obey the rules, and we follow the rules, and, it's the rules or no way. Well, they didn't have a clue about what the rules really say. The rules say every registered Republican in the state has a sacred right to be, to have their voice heard in the GOP. And, so the people out there that don't necessarily agree with certain issues, stuff like that, they're registered Republicans, they're still allowed to have a voice. And, if they would go to our website or communicate their, email us or whatever and voice their opinion, that's at least something. At least we're getting people's opinions out there to where you can start to have conversations.
There you go.
Sitting there silent and being angry doesn't fix anything. And if you don't understand all the problems, maybe that puts you at risk of making the wrong decision on things. So, the important thing is to get out there and get people to at least come and have a conversation. That's where it all starts.
Absolutely. What do you envision your role in relation to other counties. I know there's a lot of newer county leadership. Some, not all chairmen. Some, some might have that was an incumbent chair and a new vice chair or whatever. But what do you see as your role?
Well, so Comanche County is the 5th largest county in the state. So we've got a lot of voters and stuff like that. So, it's a lot of work and a lot of things have to get addressed that the smaller counties don't necessarily face. And, with some of these new chair positions and things like that, or new people involved that aren't sure, it's really a matter of, if they don't understand what's going on, reaching out to us and looking at the website to see, what kind of information is important to share with the public, and how do you get those people engaged. And by going through the rules and looking at it and understanding what's supposed to happen, you can get problems fixed and people addressed and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Well, I can see the kitty is sitting by the door and he's looking at me intently. And there he goes. So we're going to take a really quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Terry before he looks really angry. Okay, I better go. We'll be. Welcome back to the Conservative Continuum. I am your host, Mick Meow. We are here with Terry Evans, and we are talking about everything GOP. So, Terry, we were talking about your role in relationships to other county and other county leaders. What about to the state? Like, how do you see you working with the new state administration, and what would you encourage other county leaders to do as well?
Well, so with the new state leadership, I should say, there should be a lot more interaction and involvement, with things going on. Once Amber and Nicole can get the SOP written up on how to do things, and we can spread that around the state, and these counties can start taking action on their own with the brigades and stuff like that, then really the state should just be reinforcing what we're doing, helping us set up events and things like that to get funding to promote these issues and to find good candidates. And, the key is we always got to keep in the back of our mind that all this is a bottom-up business. Yes. And so the state's there to help us out and support us on things like that. But I don't need the state to come tell me what to do down in my county. I just need them to back up what I'm doing to support my people.
Gotcha. Excellent point. Speaking of kind of bottom up, I know there's going to be precinct training. There's going to be other training that's going on. I think there'll be some maybe brigade training where they go, the state will go to the different counties and help them out. Do you see Lawton engaging in that as well?
So we're basically the pilot county for that.
Okay.
The first training is July 15th, I believe. They're going to be down here doing it to run through their program of instruction for it and stuff like that. And we've had Charity down here already for her brigade training a few weeks ago. And she was blown away by how much we'd already gotten done with the brigades. And, if you can get your brigade stand up and people involved in those, that's really where a lot of your money's at, because that's where the bulk of all your information for your websites or your Facebook pages is going to come from, is those. One person can't go do it all. And, we have our executive committee and our central committee and our county committees and stuff like that. But I really like the brigade concepts and pushing the brigades rather than committees, because what do committees do? They sit around a table and talk.
Right.
Brigades, I was in the Army. We know brigades, and the Army fights with brigades. So brigades are the ones that get out there and do it.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about, do you have a website yet? Are you on Facebook? Is there somewhere where if somebody's in Comanche County and they want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
So the best thing to do would be go to our website, which is www.comanchegop.org. And there's a email link. They can email us. There's the contact info for all the precinct chairs that we have, and the contact info for all the county leadership there, because they're also the brigade point of contacts. And so, right there, they should be able to see lots of good info about what's going on and get in touch with us.
Excellent. Terry, tell me what you see in the next, because it's every 2 years for the convention. So what in the next 2 years do you want to have accomplished besides the brigades?
Boy, so I would like to have a process, see a process that gets spread across the entire state of, helping the county GOPs on the process for exactly how to get a candidate and how to promote a candidate and what type of promotion you can do behind them, and getting them through the process of being getting the state GOP endorsements.
Excellent. What, and I'm going to follow this up and then I'll let you have the last word here. What would you say to somebody out there who's saying, gosh, I'm involved with my GOP. I'm either, I either have, most people, they run because they either don't like what they're seeing, or they don't know, or, lack of information. So what would you say to those people who are out there who are thinking to themselves, gosh, what do I do? How do I get involved? How do I make a difference? What do you say to them?
Well, so the way to get involved is to build up your precincts. It doesn't matter a whole bunch of what your county's doing. If your precinct's running great, that's where it's at. That's where your people meet. That's where your conversations are held. And that's where the candidates are going to come from. There's no magical pool at the county, clerk's office of, state representative candidates.
Right.
So, they can do that. And if there's problems with their precinct leadership or their county leadership, there's processes in the rule book about how to get that corrected. And that was a major issue down here, where things need to be cleaned out, because they literally, refused, tried to claim the rules to protect themselves, but then they refused to follow the rules if anybody had issues with them. And so no one could become precinct chairs or remove the county leadership here until we had our convention. So, fixing the issues and getting involved starts with the precinct and builds from there.
Terry, I am going to give you the last word, sir. Tell us anything we haven't touched on, talked about, anything that you'd like to bring up.
Well, I think the biggest thing people need to remember is, you have to be kind and courteous to each other. And you might have differences of opinion, But right now, this is a war going on to save our country from this absolute lunacy that's being promoted throughout the media and things like that.
Yeah.
And the only way you fight that is arming yourself with the facts and then talking to each other and, keep going and keep having the conversations until you gain some traction and get things fixed. If we have to replace 15, 20 representatives, things like that, the next elections, that's what we have to do. But we can't, the Republican mentality of taking the high road, well, we're on such a high road for the last 10 years that we didn't notice our knees were getting cut out from underneath us.
Right.
And now people are starting to see that. And, so we've got to have the conversations to build back our power base and fix these problems.
Wonderful. Terry, it was so good to have you, sir. I'm glad that you came in and talked to us. I really want you guys to have wonderful, great luck and reinforcement. If you're in Comanche County, Terry Evans is your chair. They have lots of good information too about election integrity. They have lots of great information about ways to handle brigades. They're part of that, getting people involved and educated. So make sure that you go to the GOP website. And one more time, Terry, tell us your website.
The website is www.comanchegop.org.
Wonderful. Terry, thank you so much. God bless you. Take care. It was really good to see you today, sir.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Thank you for curling up with us today. I am so grateful that you watched my program. I am truly blessed by all of you. Thank you to my guest, Terry Evans, the GOP chairman for Comanche County. Please be sure to subscribe to the Conservative Continuum on patreon.com/McMeow. You can also find us on Rumble and Facebook, and the Conservative Continuum is on True Social, Substack, and Telegram and Twitter. Now, I want you all to make sure that you focus on getting involved and getting active no matter where you are. And I look forward to seeing you next week when we're going to bring you more interesting guests, and we're going to talk about some of those topics that I discussed earlier at the beginning of the show. Now, stand up, speak out, get involved, and be blessed always, my friends.